Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Now, this red nation started in Genesis, which means the beginning, 25, 23 through 25. And it was a twin set of boys that came out of Rebekah and Isaac. Isaac was given the blessing of Abraham, and he was going to give that blessing to his children. Now, the first one that came out, it was red all over and hairy like a garment in Genesis 25:25. But the other one came out regular with pigment or melanin in his skin. And Esau, which means wasted away is he, came out red, meaning that he didn't have any pigment to his skin. He had a clean version of leprosy. And to know his descendants, they was just pretty much given the blessing. In Genesis 27:38-40, they cried for a blessing. And Isaac said, okay, I'll give you a blessing. You will have the first rulership over the earth before your brother Jacob ruled the earth. You will have the rulership and dominion before he do. But when you go to Numbers 24, chapter 24 brings out that Amalek, the grandson of Esau, his descendants would be the first of the nations, meaning that they will rule first, but that the latter end would be that they would go into captivity and then they would be destroyed. Same thing that happened with 2nd Esdras 6:9. It say that Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Meaning that the people that's ruling at the end of the world will be the children of Esau, Edom. Now, when Esau gave up his birthright for this red pottage, his name was changed to Edom, meaning he was gonna be represented by the color red. The color red was gonna represent him. When you go into Esther talks about a great dragon. It talks about these Edomites being the dragon because they was trying to take the kingdom from the Persians. And they finally did take the kingdom from the Persians when Alexander the Great came into power. And Alexander the Great was one of the first kings to rule over Greece. He was the first Macedonian, aka Edomite, to rule the world in the blessing of Esau, Edom. Then you got Obadiah. The whole book of Obadiah is dedicated to Edom. It talks about how you can know that the Edomites are ruling. They their pride is so great, and they fly so high with the eagle. They have the nest in the space with the stars. They have a nest up there. And they used to dwell in the caves of the rocks, in the Caucasus Mountains. And even in Edom, they lived in the mountains in Edom. In the land where they call Edom, they have a pretty much building structure where they lived in the clefts of the rocks. So this red nation, when you go to Revelation chapter 12, it talks about, in verse 3, it talks about the great red dragon. In verse 9, it talks about the great red dragon, which is the devil and Satan, meaning a deceiver and an adversary, and that they would deceive the whole world. And so this red nation is all through the Bible, and they changed their name and changed other nations into colors, because they knew that their name represented red, and they was pretty much, their name was a color. So since their name was a color, they said, well, we gonna make everybody else's name a color and change our color, the color, our name, into a different color. So now they went from red, being known as being red peoples, to white peoples. And they chose white because white is pure, and it means righteous and good and clean. And then they gave their brothers' children, Jacob's children, black, because black means wicked, dark, evil. Gave it all kind of dirty connotation or bad meanings. So this red nation been ruling ever since the Greeks and the Romans. They've been ruling ever since then. Then you get a Britain and America in 1492, where they came back into power in the Renaissance, and this red nation took over again and destroyed all of the pictures of the Israelites and made them red peoples, made God red, a red person, and made his son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, Yahweh Mashiach, they made him a red person. That was another identifying mark of who they were. In Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. And if it's somebody else who did it, let it be known, because only this red nation covered up the face of Yahweh Shai, Amashiach, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, and Yahweh, the Almighty Creator. It's the only nation that have done that. And so that identified them as the wicked, along with Malachi chapter 1, verse 4. It identifies them, the nation of Edom, the red nation, as the border of wickedness, that they would be called the border of wickedness. So this nation is being exposed, like 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, say the man of sin would be revealed in the last days. And see, sin is red. Red stands for sin. That's a symbolic meaning for the color red. Sin. And white stands for sinless and righteousness. But the color red stands for sin, because he's the man of sin, the man of red, It's all a connection. But I'm going to leave it there. I want to add in that Revelation chapter 6, the red horse, that was given a great sword. In Genesis chapter 27, 40, it talks about that Esau's descendants were ruled by the sword. Then when you go to Revelation chapter 6, it said this red horse was given a great sword. So it's all a connection. But I'm going to leave it there. All praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rekakadash, double honor to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. The kingdom is at hand. Shalom.